Hello, social sellers. George is here, and welcome to today's episode where we're going to talk about the intellectual property, how to protect yourself from piracy, how to protect your brand, your offer, your production, your solution, even like your invention or innovation from piracy and from theft. So we're going to talk about intellectual property, and by intellectual property, I mean patents, trademarks, copywriting, trade secrets, and those kind of things that literally in every single country we have the opportunity that or the opportunity to go and register those kind of intellectual property, or what we call them IPs. So we can protect our brand, we can protect the production of our mind, the production of our team, the production of our solutions, of our products or services. But there are like lots of tricks and things that could happen when you register the intellectual property. So it is not just a straightforward path. It is not just you go register and you are protected. It's not the case always, because sometimes if you register a patent, for instance, there's something could happen that puts you off or puts you even out of business. And I'm going to give you some example of what is happening in country, for instance, like Canada, where the law is protected, and the law is also enforced, even though the law is protected and enforced, and people all are under like the same legal path or processes. Even though lots of corporations, lots of companies, they break the law somehow, and I'm going to show you how. And they mass produce what you have patented, and they can use that to their advantage. And I will give you the example before we start talking about the intellectual property. One time I was with a client sitting with a intellectual property lawyer, and the client, she had an invention in the health sector. So she wanted to patent that invention. She wanted to patent that solution that she's going to create in the health industry. And here's the lawyer, what he said exactly. And that happened in Canada. So I'm not talking about like countries where the law is not protected or the law is not respected. I'm talking about Canada. And the lawyer, literally, this is the example he gave us in here. He said, there are companies, big corporations located in here. What they do, they look at the patents registered. So if you go and register your patent right now, and you don't have the money to go and produce your solution right away, those corporations in the health sector, what they do, they steal your invention, they will steal your patent, and they mass produce. It means they're going to steal your invention, and this is what the lawyer is telling my client. They're going to steal your invention, and they mass produce, they get the market, they have the money, so they can sell thousands or maybe even like millions of the solution that you have created. And when you discover that you got pirated, or someone robbed your invention, your patent, you go to the court. And he says, like on average, the court process in Canada takes between a year and a half to 2 years. At the end, they're going to be fined. They're going to pay you some what we call like reimbursement, or like you're going to win the case, but you win the case after 2 years. And after 2 years, like they have a big margin of selling thousands and millions of the products based on your invention or on your patent. And that is the critical issue right now with intellectual property. So I'm going to, I was thinking about intellectual property because we're talking about how to create our solution, how to create our offer, how to create a digital business, how we can protect ourselves in the digital space. So we need to understand like how it works, what we should do, especially on the startup phase, because most business owners, most entrepreneurs who are watching this live, they are at the startup phase, or they are on small budget comparing to big corporations. So big corporations, they have billions of dollars, they have hundreds of millions of dollars. So even though like you are making some millions in your business right now, that will not protect you or will not give you an advantage or an unfair advantage. So you can protect yourself against those corporations. So literally what we should do to protect ourselves, not only to register the intellectual property, but we have to do some other steps to register maybe the intellectual property and to get the market at the same time. And I'm going to show you exactly what is the process, what you can do right now to protect your offer, to protect your invention, to protect your solution that you are creating for your niche market. So with that being said, I'm going to give you the difference between a startup and a corporation when it comes to intellectual property and what we can find on the startup base, what a startup can do, what is the advantage and the disadvantage of startup and corporations. So how to protect yourself from piracy, from the theft of big corporations. And I'm not talking only about big corporations because sometimes the piracy and the theft could happen on individual basis. Lots of online courses creators, they have this issue. On their team, they have what they call the police team or the piracy police team to deal with the people, individuals, or business who steal their online courses, who steal their solution, who steal their offer. So this is not only about knowledge products or information product or just online courses. That is an issue that happens in every single market. So if you are in the health industry, if you are in the financial industry, in the knowledge industry, in the consulting and coaching industry, you are under, at some point, you're going to be under this kind of theft and piracy. So how to protect yourself, what you should do in this process. And I'm going to give you an illustration, but at the end, you still need to get a so let me share with you my screen. Let me know if the internet is not stable. So to make sure we don't get interrupted. So the intellectual property, what is the difference between a startup and a corporation? A startup usually, when it comes to intellectual property, when it comes to like registering a patent or a trademark or a copywriting and even like a trade secret, they usually, the startup will not have like much money. Like startups, business owners, small businesses, even medium businesses, they don't have big budget like for legal things and like legal protection. They do the basic things, but they don't have big investments to spend on everything legal, and that's include the intellectual property. Whereas corporations, they have big money, they have lots of money that they can invest to get all those intellectual property registered. Startups, what they can do in the meantime, they can use the trade secrets. Because remember, if you are a startup and you patent, you register, or even you copyright your invention on the intellectual property office, what happens, those corporations, they can come and steal your invention and literally mass produce, and they can get the market. So the issue between you and corporation is who can get the market first. And the shorter answer that you have to think of or about as a startup, because you don't have much money, you don't have the necessary budget or help, the legal help to register all your patents, all your copywritings. Now you have to like to do one step that maybe puts lots of like you have to put lots of efforts on your time. You have to smartly use your time so you can mass selling. So what I will do as a startup, what I will do as a coach or trainer or small medium size business, why when I have like little money, I will not go and patent and register or even copywriting my intellectual property. Instead, what I do, I keep it as a secret. This is what we call the trade secret. What I do in the meantime, I go mass selling. So I will go and start selling as many as I can. So I can get the market, I can position myself first in the market. And once I do that, now I have money. Now I go and patent and register all the intellectual property that I have to register or I can register. Whereas the corporation, they have big money, they can literally steal your intellectual property because they can use the big money they have to mass produce. They mass produce, and they can get the market before even you discovered that they had pirated your invention. So the other option, or the to summarize this option, what I will do is, like you at the startup or the coach or the trainer or the small business, because even if you are like a massage therapist or a dentist or an accountant or a lawyer, like those self-employed or small business owners, we don't have the big budget. So literally, instead of you going like spend lots of money on registering your intellectual property, what you can do, keep everything secret. And once you start getting the money that you should be getting from the mass selling that you should do in your process, now you go and register. Like either you go and do this sequence, like you have no money, you keep it secret, you mass sell, you get the market, and then you start patent and copyright. Or what you can do as a startup or a coach, you keep everything as a secret, trade secret, and then what you do, you go and massive register your IPs once you have the money that you should be having. So with like if you look at big companies, what they do, like Apple's and those big guys, what they do when they register a patent or intellectual property, what they do, they register all the possibilities. They don't only register like a patent or an invention that works this way. They register like all ways possible. So no competition. They can think about an alternative to that invention, so they can mass produce or they can clone or they can copy the intellectual property or the invention that you have created or you have registered. So keep everything as a secret. Once you have the money, now I go and register, like mass register everything, all the possibilities. You need big money for that. You can mass sell again. The mass selling is critical for small, medium-sized businesses, for coaches, for trainers, for self-employed, for small businesses. Mass selling is essential. So to take position, to get the market before corporations, they do, based on your invention, based on your solution, based on your great offer, you have to get the market. To get the market, you have to mass sell. Whereas corporation, what they can do, they have big money, they can mass produce, they have big teams, and they can get the market faster than you can do once they have like the right solution or the information about your solution. So patenting or copywriting doesn't protect you and doesn't protect your intellectual property, because some companies, not only corporations, even individual companies, what they do, they can go and pirate and steal your offer, steal your solution, steal your product or service idea, and they can mass produce it. The only way you can do and you can protect yourself is to keep it secret, to mass sell, to get the market, and then go and patent or copyright or register the intellectual property that you should be registering. So you have to be aware of that. Even if you are selling online courses, you have to be aware of the piracy that is happening online. So again, you have to get a legal advice about what is the like pros and cons of registering a intellectual property, because once you register the intellectual property, it becomes public. Like everybody can see exactly what you have registered. They can see all the details. And once you expose the details right now, like literally they can copy you easily because you put all the necessary information for them to understand how they can create and how they can clone and steal your invention or your offer or your solution. So for that, I will not register an intellectual property unless I must sell, I have the money, and I can right now register all the possibilities of my intellectual property, of my offer solution or product idea, or the actual product that I'm going to sell in my market or for my niche audience. So if you have any question about intellectual property, again, get a legal advice, put your question in the comment section. And what I'm sharing with you today, it comes from my experience with my clients and with my own brands and my own products. So I want to alert people, coaches, trainers, business owners, and entrepreneurs that intellectual property doesn't mean you are always protected. You have to think about the different ways that piracy and theft could happen online, or even offline. So you can protect. The more knowledge you acquire, the more protection you can create for your offer and for your business. If you have any question, put that in the comment section, and don't forget to join my Facebook group, 100% Profit. And on that group, I started to launch my free course, how you can create a lucrative digital business. So literally, it is free, no sales attached. You apply the lessons, and literally you can create the right hypnotic exponential offer that helps you to kick off a successful digital business. With that being said, I will see you tomorrow with a new question and a new topic. This is George, and you